This is a place with no shame. This is a mind with no frame. This is the light with no dark. This is the truth with no faults. This is a place with no shame. This is a mind with no frame. This is the light with no pain. This is a place with no shame. If you thought I'd be distracted, baby.
Good afternoon, darlings. Good afternoon, Sanbonani Dumelang, Molweni, and it's that time of the year again. I've just decided to record and continue with my YouTube videos for the year 2023. I'm just gonna continue with what I was doing last year, and then I'm gonna continue with it this year, like posting, especially when I get time on Fridays, and then recording videos on each Friday. So today I just felt like taking a video today, and yeah, I hope you guys are gonna have continue with this journey with me, and I'm gonna record and take as much videos as I possibly can. But then yeah, I'll just have to. In this today's video, we're gonna be talking about how I got rejected by Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, and how I got rejected by SAMSTIP, which is the Maths and Science bursary for teachers. Yes. So let's start with Jakes first, and then we'll talk about SAMSTIP. Last year I was actually, I wanted to study teaching this year, the year 2023, and I applied for as many bursaries, especially that fund teaching students. Yeah, I applied, and I got accepted for Jakes Gerwel. I applied for Jakes Gerwel Fellowship twice. I applied for the year 2021 to study for 2022, and I got accepted. Let me just talk about that year. I applied for Jakes Gerwel Fellowship. I applied for their 5 partner universities, which is VET, UP, UJ, University of Western Cape, Stellenbosch University, and what else? I don't know the last university, but then they have 6, not 5 partnering universities, right? So I applied for all of 6 partnering universities, and I applied for Jakes, and then I got accepted for Jakes. This is the process of Jakes, how they do things. You're supposed to write an eligibility quiz, and then after eligibility quiz, it's something like that, and it's an online thingy whereby there's a link that you should click on, and then they ask you several questions whether you're eligible or not to apply for the bursary, of which I did, and then yeah, it was thumbs up. Number 2, after writing eligibility quiz, then it is then that you can be selected for an interview phase, of which I was selected for an interview phase. I qualified. Yeah, the interview process, it was online as well, and it was an online interview, and it happened around July. Yes, I wrote an eligibility quiz around March, April, and then I got accepted for interview, and then yeah, I passed the interview, and I got accepted to move to the next stage, of which it was a selection camp, 3-day selection camp, of which I did so well. I moved to stage 4, of which now is the psychometric test, right? And that time I was actually waiting for universities, the partner universities, and then 5 of them, they rejected me before September, because normally the closing date for enrollment of courses, it's September. So 5 of them, they rejected me, and I was only left with Faith. Yeah, Faith didn't respond. They responded on the following year of which I was gonna study, which is 2022. They responded around March, imagine. And the thingy academic year started already. It has started on that particular time, and I got rejected by Faith, unfortunately, and I got rejected by Jakes Gerwel Fellowship on the psychometric round. Yeah, so on their email I got the rejection email, and the I had an option to actually click to make an appointment of them to call me and tell me how I went wrong, what did I do, especially the psychometric stage. What am I saying? Okay, I didn't choose that both of the options because I was disappointed. Number one, number two, I was not feeling it anymore because I was like, what's the point? Because all of the universities, they rejected me. So what's the point of me like having to actually find out like what did I do, how did it went and stuff like that? I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm just cutting this and everything. I was so disappointed, very hurt, sharp. I took me time to actually acclimatize and adapt to everything. Then I applied again because I wanted to do this teaching thing. I applied again on 2022 for 2023, of which this is the year. Yeah. I kind of feel like the one thing that made me not to got accepted at first because I applied late. I remember I applied around August, and then the closing date for PGCE was September the 30th. So I applied late, and at first when you apply late, obviously you're gonna be number last. They're gonna consider you number last. Applied late, that's why I got rejected at first. Yeah, because why? I'm a first alumni. I'm up there supposed to take me. I was like, why they rejected me? Because I'm a vetsy, so they rejected me. Okay, I was like, Fede Shabu, I'm just gonna like think about this, and then yeah, I talked and I aligned with my inner, my inner soul and my inner everything, and then I applied again. I was like, this year, let me just apply everything early. It was 2022, which is last year. I applied for VERITS. I started with VERITS. I applied around March, beginning of March. I didn't apply for UJ because the selection criteria doesn't match with my teaching subject. I didn't apply for UJ. I didn't apply for UP because they only want two majors, I think, and one is senior phase. So I have one major and one senior phase. So but then they had an option to actually consider me if I'm gonna do one FET and I'm gonna do research, something like that. I didn't apply for UP. I didn't apply for UJ. I applied for Stellenbosch. I applied for University of Western Cape. I applied for University of Cape Town, UCT. I applied for the Sharp. I applied for Jakes Gerwel again. And then I got the email. They had to like tell me. I knew the process of Jakes Gerwel, how to do it and stuff like that. Eligibility quiz. I got accepted. Yeah, and then it was approved. I moved to the next stage of interview stage. But then before we moved to interview stage, they sent me an email to make the touch ups here and there so that they can actually consider me. Yeah, they sent back my application form, and then I had to like all the process. Let me just clear this. The process of it's eligibility quiz. When you're eligible, you fill up an application form. After application form, it's interview. After interview, it's selection camp. After selection camp, it's psychometric test. So there are 5 stages in order for you to get Jakes Gerwel Fellowship. Sharp. And then they sent me the application. I had to alter this and that in order for them to consider me. Sharp. I did that. They sent me an email again saying I'm moving to the next stage of interview stage. In my mind, I'm like, I've got this. I know I'm gonna get Jakes because this is my second time now doing this, and I know everything. And interview, it was so well. It was flowing. I was giving my all. Yeah. Last year, the application. The reason why they didn't take me at Jakes is because of my interview. I did it at work, and I got disturbed so many times. So that's why that was the one of the reasons I think they didn't take me. It was because of my interview. It was not so well. So this last year, 2022, everything was so well. My interview, I smashed it. Like everything, I nailed with an A. I was not disturbed. I was at home immediately. If I recall. Interview after interview, I got an email that you are accepted, and then you're moving through the stage of not academic, the selection camp, which is a 3-day camp, which is online. They provide you with data, they provide you with their a pack or some a package or a present or something like that. It's in a pack where you get your t-shirt, your stationery, notebooks, a squeeze bottle and everything, just to prepare yourself for the selection camp on that particular weekend. And then they provide you with data sharp. I got accepted to that stage. Everything, I was on fire. Like last year I was on fire because everything was repeated, and it was just like that. They altered this and that, and then they shift dates, but then everything it was like that. I nailed my selection camp. I was on fire. And then I got in after the selection camp happened on October. Normally, they select people October. It happened, and then time passed, and then I got an email that you're moving through to psychometric. Psychometric now. One thing that changed is they told me, since when I did the psychometric now at the first time, since when it was my second application, they told me not to do this portion and only do the test only. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I've got this. If like they're saying that, which means there are high chances of me getting the scholarship. I did that. And then from it was October, November, December. We waited. And I remember last year they took those who wrote the eligibility quiz, who wanted to apply for the scholarship. They were like 22,000 something hundred students, and then they cut to 5,000. They had to like write an application and with submitting the necessary documents, and then they cut to 500. Imagine, from 5,000 to 500. 500 made it to interview. I was one of the 500. From 22,000 to 5,000 to 500, I was one of the 500. And then they took 183 who were gonna make it for selection camp. I was one of the 183. From 22,000 to 183. I'm like, I've got this one is mine. And then after from 183, they took 80 something, they cut 100 for the psychometric stage. The last part, everything was going down. I wanna eat life when you think everything is just as going according to what you want, it's going down, because that's what it went down with me. And then I got an email around the 14th of December, 15th of December 2022, that blah 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 blah, we reject, no no no, we regret to inform you, 122 123 didn't get the scholarship. At this time now, they didn't have that
Why
option of
Mara? Oh
like
Mara.
you're supposed to make an
Steve.
appointment, and they call you to tell you like what went wrong, or why, what you didn't do and stuff like that. So this last year, 2022, they didn't tell us um what went wrong and stuff like that. Yeah, so I got rejected. And then in universities, I got accepted at UCT. I got accepted at those university. I was so excited that, wow, UCT, I'm gonna do PGCE there. But then I was gonna choose fates because everything of
This is the
fate,
home,
I
bruh.
know
You
A's
know.
and T's, I know from A to Z, I know the families, I know everything, I know the environment. I'm familiar with environment. And then yeah, I got rejected for Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, but then UCT and Wits, they accepted me to do PGCE. And then now I was so stressed. I was so stressed. I'm saying, like, PGCE, do you want me to do you want me to be a teacher? Because I want to be a teacher now. Like,
I
I'm
definitely
ready
know that you're passionate
now.
about
I'm ready
teaching,
to do
especially
this.
to do with teaching education. You're
Got
very
rejected
passionate.
for
Keep on pushing.
Jakes Gerwel Fellowship. Yeah, that's how it went. So exactly that's what happened, and that didn't even break my soul. Like, I've got this tendency of when I fail or when I fall, I just stand up and keep and move on with life. Yeah, I just want to see what. I applied for SAMSTIP last year concurrently with Jakes, and then yeah, I moved to stage where the stages of SAMSTIP, the Maths and Science bursary for teachers. This is how it goes. You apply for it. After apply, you get selected. You go and write the test, a Maths and English test. When you pass, you have to go for an online interview. After, you have to be interviewed with a particular old school. After, you're supposed to apply at UNISA. After, UNISA or Northwest University for distance learning, because some tip only they want students who are gonna do distance learning. Yeah. After the interview for the school, it is then that they can award you with the bursary. I was in the stages. I got accepted. I wrote the math and English test. I passed. I made it through. Made it through to the interview. I know you. And then after the interview, now the selection criteria is either you do mathematics as the main major, together with either physics, natural sciences, or life sciences only. So now my main major is geography, as if FET, and then SP is mathematics and natural sciences. It was one of the reasons that made me not to actually continue with SAMSTIP, because of like, yeah, the options. But then those ones who did maths together with natural science, or maths with life sciences, or maths with physical sciences, they went through. Yeah, and I didn't go through. I didn't even continue with the application. I told the guy that was responsible that my main major is geography and natural sciences. Yeah, I didn't I didn't finish up my NISA application due to that. And then what happened? Yeah, and I go through but then I went through the process of interview. But then after that, I was like, let me just cut it, because they would wanna see my evidence that I applied at UNISA, confirmation letter of registration, and they would see that my major is geography and natural science. Yeah. So word of advice is to those who would wanna apply for Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, they apply for it. But then I I I don't know at this point that what I did wrong, because I did everything wholeheartedly. So I was giving my all, made sure I've got this and everything. So yeah, at this point I don't know what Jakes Gerwel Fellowship wanted, because my majors are geography, natural science, and maths. But then in Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, they take anyone who wanna do teaching, even if you teach LO, even if you teach English or other languages, they take you. Maybe I needed to like put more effort more, but then I don't know. We don't know. I don't know what happened, but then word of advice, especially to teachers out there want to study PGCE, is that it's difficult, especially having to look for bursaries and apply for bursaries to fund. First and foremost, NSFAS is no longer funding PGCE anymore. I feel like they kind of saw like many people who want to do PGCE, and they would like end up funding or focusing on only PGCE students instead of BEd. So they cut this and they no longer funding PGCE NSFAS, and it's very hard for people who like sitting at home with their degrees and they want to do PGCE, but then there's no funding. It's better if like you're working and you're funding the studies, right? So word of advice is that for them to apply as many bursaries as they can, Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, SAMSTIP, and there are other bursaries there, but then I didn't apply for them because I hoped that I was gonna be a Jakes Gerwel Fellowship candidate fellow, but then it didn't happen. It's life after all. You just have to like I don't know, accept and move on and hope for the best, of which I did for this year. Yeah. But then everything is going according to plan. I'm just gonna like reveal the video of what I'm doing. I'm gonna do what I did after. So yeah, just wanted to tell you how I rejected twice for Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, and then for some tape, like I cut or I quit or whatever. I didn't want to continue with it because of my majors. But then Kunzim, it's very tough out there, especially for people who want to do PGCE but then without funding. So in J, I don't know what happened, but then that didn't even affect me as an individual, because like I just told myself that I want to study this, and this is what I'm currently doing right now. So now what I'm currently doing now, I'm studying and working at the same time, and I'm funding for my studies. I applied for this particular institution as private, and I'm continuing to do it to do my PGC because I want to teach. So like I told myself that I want to teach, and I'm definitely gonna teach. So yeah, out there, especially now in South Africa, things are tough. Everything is so tough. It's either you make it, it's either you go big or you go home. So yeah, I fought for this because I remember last year after getting rejected for almost everything, I applied for this private institution. I applied on the 23rd of December. Luckily, I got accepted in January. They told me to register, of which I registered now. I'm just like waiting for my proof of registration and then my enrollment. Then I'm gonna enroll as a PGC student while working at distance learning, of which I was supposed to even to think about that because I feel like the universe didn't want me to go back and be a full-time student anymore. So the universe was like, no, work and study. You're an adult now, you're adulting. At that time, I don't want to be an adult. So this is what really happened. Getting rejected for Jakes and SAMSTIP, or let me say, getting rejected for funding. Yeah, but then I hope, I wishing all of every student who wanna study PGC, but then getting the funding is very difficult. You're just hanging there. Something will come. Something positive will come. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the video or watching the video. Yeah, I hope it's gonna help some of you out there. Thank you. Ciao.